At my uncle's divorce proceedings, a hidden $50,000 debt and shocking family secret turned the room into chaos. So this all went down a few months ago, but it's still fresh in my mind because honestly, I've never seen my family implode like this. My uncle Angel 41M was going through divorce proceedings with his wife, Carla 39F. On paper, they looked like the perfect suburban couple, big house, 2 kids, matching SUVs in the driveway. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. I'm not super close to Angel, but he's always been the cool uncle. He slipped me $20 bills when I was a teenager, cracked jokes at family BBQs, and always had this laid-back vibe. That's why the whole divorce thing kind of blindsided me. The hearing was set at the county courthouse downtown. Picture one of those sterile beige rooms with squeaky chairs, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and everyone trying to look calm while lawyers shuffle papers. My mom, Angel's sister, and my grandpa came to support him, and I tagged along because, well, family loyalty. Carla had her sister with her, sitting there with this smug, arms crossed posture that screamed, I know something you don't. At first, it seemed like your typical messy divorce stuff. Custody arrangements, splitting assets, blah blah. The judge was already annoyed because Angel and Carla couldn't agree on who'd keep the house. That's when Carla's lawyer suddenly dropped a bomb. Your Honour, my client has reason to believe Mr. Angel has been hiding significant debt from this court. The whole room went silent. Angel shifted in his chair, his face going red. My mom whispered, what debt? Under her breath. Turns out Angel had racked up nearly $50,000 in personal loans that none of us knew about. Not even my grandpa, who prides himself on being the family advisor when it comes to money. Carla's lawyer slapped down statements, credit cards, online loan services, even some shady payday loan slips. Angel tried to brush it off like, that's my business, not hers, but Carla exploded. Not my business. You borrowed against our house, Angel. You dragged our kid's future into your mess. At that point, the judge had to bang the gavel just to calm everyone down. My mom looked stunned, whispering to me, if Dad finds out, he'll disown him. And she wasn't wrong. Grandpa's old school, his whole identity is built around financial responsibility and reputation. But then the worst part came out. The lawyer asked Angel what the money was for. He hesitated, and I swear you could feel the tension in the air thick enough to choke on. He finally muttered something about helping family. That's when Grandpa leaned forward and demanded, what family? And Angel, looking like a cornered animal, said, I've been supporting someone you all don't know about. You could hear a pin drop. Carla folded her arms and smirked, like she'd been waiting for this moment. My mom's hand clamped over her mouth, and I just sat there, heart pounding, because I knew whatever was coming next was going to blow the lid off our family. The silence in that courtroom was unreal. You know those moments when time feels like it slows down? That's exactly how it felt. Everyone was staring at Angel, waiting for him to explain who this someone was. Even the judge tilted his glasses down like, well, let's hear it. Angel rubbed his face and finally blurted out, it's my son, my other son. I swear, I actually heard my mom gasp out loud. Carla's jaw clenched so hard I thought her teeth would shatter. She barked out a laugh, bitter and shocked. Oh, now you want to admit it? After years of pretending he didn't exist? The room basically erupted. My mom turned to me and whispered, what the hell is he talking about? My grandpa, who never loses his composure, just froze like a statue, his hands gripping the armrests of his chair. The judge had to raise his voice to bring order. Mr. Angel, you'll explain yourself clearly, or I'll have this room cleared. Angel sighed and looked down at his hands like he couldn't even face us. Before Carla and I got married, I had a kid with someone else, a woman named Teresa. She didn't tell me until years later. When I found out, I felt responsible, so I've been helping them. That's where the money went. Carla slammed her hands on the table. Helping them? You mean living a double life and draining our savings for a kid you never told me about? Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for me, for our kids? The air in that courtroom was thick with shock. My mom leaned toward Angel, her voice shaking. Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell Dad? That's when Grandpa finally spoke. His voice was low but heavy, like it carried decades of disappointment. You mean to tell me that all these years, you've been lying to us, while I trusted you to take care of your family, you were out here hiding a child? Angel tried to defend himself, but it came out desperate. I wasn't lying, I was protecting everyone. Teresa needed help. The boy needed help. I didn't want to blow up my marriage or shame the family name. Carl shot back. He blew it up anyway, Angel, and don't make this sound noble. You weren't protecting anyone but yourself. At that point, the judge called for a recess because emotions were spiraling out of control. We all spilled out into the hallway, which was somehow even worse because it was just us and no court decorum to keep things in check. Carla stormed off with her sister, muttering loud enough for everyone to hear. He's not just broke, he's a fraud. Let his precious secret son take care of him now. My mom pulled me aside, whispering, this is going to kill Grandpa. He's not going to forgive Angel, not for this. Meanwhile, Angel stood there, shoulders slumped, looking like the weight of the world had finally crushed him. And honestly, for the first time, I didn't see the cool uncle. I saw a man drowning in the consequences of years of lies. The hallway outside the courtroom was chaotic, an echo chamber for the storm that had just erupted inside. People were whispering, muttering, or openly staring, but we didn't care. My mom grabbed Angel by the arm, shaking him like she could physically make him answer for everything. Angel, how could you do this to all of us? She hissed. Her eyes were wide, almost frantic. To Dad, to me, to the kids you've been hiding this for years. Angel just shook his head slowly, his voice low and hoarse. I didn't want to hurt anyone, I really didn't. Teresa and my son, they had no one else. Before my mom could snap back, Grandpa appeared, looming over both of them. He looked older than his 70 years, his face pale, jaw clenched. He didn't even yell at first. He just stared at Angel like he was staring at a stranger. You've been lying to us, to me, Grandpa said slowly. Do you have any idea what this does to our family, to your kids, to your reputation? Angel's shoulders slumped. Aye, Grandpa, aye. No, don't you dare. Grandpa interrupted. I raised you to be responsible, to be honest, and all this time, you've been sneaking around, hiding money, hiding a child. Do you even realize the humiliation you've caused your own family? Carla's sister, who had been leaning against the wall with her arms crossed, chimed in smugly. Maybe if he'd just told the truth sooner, none of this would have been so messy. Angel flinched at her words, and my mom's hands went to her face. He's our family, she said desperately. Yes, he messed up, but family? Grandpa barked, and it wasn't just anger, it was disbelief. This is betrayal, Angel, that's what this is, and you've put us all through hell. At that moment, my uncle's phone buzzed. He looked down, and I noticed his face change. He went pale. It was a text from Teresa, his secret son's mom. We can't wait much longer. You promised to send money this week. The $50,000 debt suddenly clicked for me. Every night, Angel stayed late at work. Every cutback on family outings, every awkward excuse he gave about bills, it all tied back to secretly supporting a child no one knew existed. My mom's voice cracked. So all this, all of it, the money, the lies, it was for him? Angel nodded, silent. I was trying to do the right thing. I didn't know how to tell anyone. Grandpa shook his head slowly, muttering under his breath. You could have ruined everything for everyone. By the time the judge called us back inside, the tension hadn't eased. Angel walked with his head down, shoulders heavy, while Grandpa lingered in the hallway, muttering curses and shaking his head. Carla looked vindicated, like she had been waiting for this all along. And my mom, she looked torn, heartbroken, but still standing by her brother, even if just barely. It was clear that the family secret had officially been exposed and no one was going back to the way things were before. Back inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was thick enough to choke on. The judge gave us a stern look, clearly fed up with the circus, and said, Let's proceed, Mr. Angel. We need full disclosure on finances and custody issues immediately. Angel's lawyer, a sharp woman with glasses perched at the tip of her nose, handed over a stack of documents. These are all the loans, credit cards, and payments Mr. Angel has made to support his other son, she explained. The numbers made everyone's eyes widen. $50,000 in debt, and that didn't even include interest and late fees. Carla didn't even wait to react politely. He used our marital funds, our children's future, and for what? Some kid I've never even met. Her voice was cutting, but everyone in that room could feel the weight of her words. Grandpa leaned forward, shaking his head. Angel, this isn't just about money, this is about trust. You've betrayed everyone who trusted you, and now you're letting them dictate your life while our family picks up the pieces. Angel's face crumpled. For the first time, he wasn't deflecting, or trying to charm his way out. His voice was shaky, almost breaking. I didn't know how else to do it. I was scared of losing everyone. Carla, my family, I thought I was protecting them. Carla's face softened just a bit, not from forgiveness, but from a realization of the human complexity behind the betrayal. Protecting them? By hiding it and bankrupting us? Then came the custody discussion, and things got messy. Angel's kids from his marriage were sitting quietly in the gallery, barely old enough to understand the chaos but clearly affected by it. Carla's lawyer argued that Angel's secret financial obligations demonstrated poor judgment, making him an unstable guardian. Angel's lawyer countered that he had been providing support responsibly and never endangered his children. The real emotional bomb, though, came when Angel's secret son's existence became official in court. A picture of the boy, around 10 years old, was submitted by Teresa. The gallery gasped. Even Carla looked stunned. Angel's voice broke as he said, He's my son too. I love him. I had to help him. Grandpa's hands were trembling. My mom leaned over to me and whispered, I can't believe this is happening. I just can't. The judge finally called for a brief recess, sensing that emotions were spiraling. Angel slumped into his chair, tears running down his cheeks. I hadn't seen him like this since I was a kid. The man who used to joke and tease, who always seemed untouchable, now looked utterly broken. Carla crossed her arms, staring at him with a mix of disgust and incredulity. You've made everything so much harder, Angel, for everyone. And that's when Angel did something none of us expected. He stood up, voice barely audible but steady, and said, I'll face the consequences. I'll deal with the money, the custody, I'll do whatever it takes, but I can't apologize for being a father. It was raw. It was messy. And it split the room into two camps, those who saw betrayal and those who saw love in the wrong place. By the time we left for lunch, nothing was resolved, but the family secret was officially out, and Angel's world was now laid bare for everyone to see. After court adjourned for lunch, the family tension didn't ease, it just spilled out into the parking lot. The sun was glaring off the courthouse windows, but no one seemed to notice. Carla and her sister walked ahead, whispering fiercely, like the world belonged to them. My mom grabbed Angel's arm again, pulling him aside. You need to face them, she said, her voice trembling. Grandpa, Dad, they deserve an explanation. Angel ran a hand through his hair, looking exhausted. I already told them everything, he muttered. I don't know if they want to hear. Grandpa was pacing near the car, his face red with anger. Angel, we're not done talking. You've ruined your reputation. You've embarrassed this family, and now you expect us to just accept it. I'm not asking for acceptance, Angel said quietly, almost a whisper. I'm just asking for a chance to fix things where I can. I didn't plan for any of this to happen. Carla's sister snorted. Fix things. The guy has $50,000 in secret loans, a kid we didn't know existed, and the audacity to call himself responsible. My mom stepped in, trying to mediate. Enough, he's being honest now. That's more than we can say about years of pretending everything was perfect. Grandpa shook his head, muttering about trust and responsibility. But then something shifted. Instead of yelling, he stopped pacing and just stared at Angel. You've caused chaos, yes, but I can see you're not lying anymore. That's something. Angel's eyes welled up. He nodded, voice cracking. I know I can't undo the past. I just want to make sure I do right by my kids and my son with Teresa. I'll figure out the money, the custody, all of it. I just need some time. For a moment, the air softened. My mom put a hand on Grandpa's shoulder. We can't forgive everything overnight, but we can try to support him while he fixes it. Carla, of course, was less forgiving. Try. You'll see how hard it is when the court starts sorting out this mess. I've had to deal with this all my life. Now it's your turn, Angel. She stomped off toward her car, dragging her sister with her. We were left with Angel, my mom, and Grandpa. Angel looked smaller than I'd ever seen him, shoulders hunched under the weight of his secrets. My mom hugged him briefly. You have a long road ahead, but at least you're facing it now. Grandpa finally spoke, softer this time. You've got a lot to answer for, Angel, but hiding things never helps. Don't do it again. We can help you, but only if you're honest from now on. Angel nodded, tears spilling over. He looked like a man who had carried a mountain of guilt and finally dropped it in front of the people who mattered. Even in the parking lot chaos, a strange calm began to settle. The family secret was exposed, the money issues laid bare, and though tensions were still high, it felt like the first step toward rebuilding trust. The next few weeks were brutal. Angel had to face the aftermath of his secrets in every corner of his life. First up, his kids from the marriage. He invited them over one evening, hoping to explain things without scaring them, though I could see he was nervous. My cousin made 12 and little Leo 9 looked at him cautiously, their eyes wide as if trying to understand the chaos around them. I need to tell you something, Angel began, voice shaky but determined. There's a boy named Lucas, he's my son too. I've been helping him, and I know it sounds confusing, but I love you both just as much. Mia's eyes filled with tears. So you have another kid we didn't know about? Yes, Angel admitted, tears running down his face. I was scared to tell you, I made mistakes, but I'm trying to make it right. Leo blinked a few times, then asked, does this mean we're going to lose our house? Angel shook his head quickly. No, buddy. I'll make sure we're okay, I promise. That night after they left, Angel sat with my mom and grandpa, going over his finances in excruciating detail. They laid out a plan, sell a few unnecessary assets, consolidate loans, and cut back on discretionary spending. Grandpa's old-school approach to numbers was harsh but practical. You can't fix your mistakes overnight, he said, but honesty and a plan will help you climb out of this. Meanwhile, Carla remained cold. She refused calls and text messages, maintaining a strict distance. Angel tried reaching out, hoping to negotiate custody amicably, but she reminded him sharply, you put us in this mess, you'll deal with the courts and fix your own chaos. Still, Angel refused to give up. He started a schedule, work long hours, track every payment, and even set aside a small emergency fund for Lucas. He contacted Teresa to coordinate support for their son and promised to include her in every major financial decision moving forward. One evening, after another long session of budgeting and phone calls, Angel slumped into the couch, exhausted. My mom sat next to him, sighing. I know this feels impossible, she said, but you're finally being honest. That's a start. Grandpa, surprisingly, nodded in agreement. Yeah, you've made huge mistakes, Angel, but if you keep at it, maybe you can fix this, at least for the kids. It wasn't perfect. Carla's disdain still hung over every interaction, and Angel's reputation within the extended family had taken a hit. But slowly, there were signs of progress. His kids started to understand he was trying, my mom supported him, and even Grandpa offered reluctant guidance instead of constant judgment. The family secret had been exposed, the financial mess acknowledged, and Angel was finally facing the full consequences of his decisions. For the first time in months, he looked like a man taking responsibility, rather than hiding behind excuses. The final court hearing arrived faster than anyone expected. Angel walked in, looking worn but determined. The courtroom was quiet, tension still thick in the air, but there was a noticeable difference from the first session. Angel had done his homework, documents organised, payments planned, and a clear plan to manage both his debts and his responsibilities to Lucas. Carla was already seated, arms crossed, glowering at him. Her lawyer wasted no time listing Angel's financial mismanagement and insisting on strict custody arrangements. Angel's lawyer counted with every piece of evidence showing he had been supporting Lucas responsibly and had implemented a structured financial plan. The judge listened intently, occasionally raising an eyebrow at the figures and timelines. At one point, the judge asked Carla directly, do you see any evidence that Mr. Angel is taking steps to correct the issues? She hesitated, then finally said, I see he's trying, but I remain very cautious. He's betrayed trust, and that can't just be ignored. Angel's lips quivered as he glanced at his kids and then at Teresa, who had come to support Lucas. He knew it wasn't perfect, but he had to take the small victory. When the judge made the ruling, it was a compromise. Angel retained partial custody of his kids from the marriage with structured visitation and clear financial obligations. Carla kept primary custody but agreed that Angel's contributions toward Lucas's upbringing would continue, formalized through legal channels. Both sides had to work closely to maintain transparency. After the hearing, the family gathered outside. Grandpa, surprisingly, gave Angel a small nod of approval. It's not perfect, but you're owning it. That counts for something. My mom hugged him tightly. You've come a long way, Angel. I'm proud you're finally taking responsibility. Even Carla, still wary, softened slightly. You've got to prove yourself now. Actions, not words, she said, her tone stern but less venomous than before. Angel's first call was to Teresa, letting her know the court had approved the structured plan for supporting Lucas. They both cried a little on the phone, relief washing over them. For once, Angel felt like he could breathe. Over the next few months, Angel stuck to the plan religiously. Payments went out on time, custody arrangements were respected, and slowly, the kids began to trust him again. Family dinners were still tense at times, but my mom and grandpa made a point to include him and hold him accountable in equal measure. It wasn't perfect. There were still lingering hard feelings, especially with Carla. But the exposure of the family secret, the confrontation of financial issues, and Angel's dedication to facing the fallout started the slow process of healing. By the time summer rolled around, the family had settled into a new rhythm. Angel wasn't the carefree cool uncle anymore. He was a man marked by mistakes but defined by accountability. And though some bridges remained fragile, the cracks in the family were finally being mended, brick by brick, honesty by honesty. It was messy. It was emotional. But it was real.